Hey there, everyone. I'm going to talk about why containers exist in the first place. So essentially, when early in the early days of development, what used to happen is that developers used to develop software on their desktop, but it used to run on the operations team servers. The thing is, it's not necessary that the operations team and the development team they had the same dependencies, that they were using the same environment that they were in. Well, of course, they would be using the same dependencies, but having a list of these dependencies and having them automatically be present with the right versions and them being synced up, it's a bigger deal than you think it is and can be more of a pain in the ass than you would assume if you were not into development. The operations team people, they quickly recognize this problem that their engineers used to write code for their own environment, but since it had different dependency versions, it had a different operating system, it had a different environment in general. It caused a lot of syncing up issues and a lot of time wastage on the operations team end to take care of it. They had to oftentimes get back to these engineers and then ask them to, write code which worked on their device, on their servers instead. So, a great little middleware for these both teams was to come up with the concept of virtual machines and use these virtual machines for themselves. So, they use virtual machines. These developers, they used to use those same virtual machines which had the same environment as the environment which was going to be there on the prod machine. But while this was great, it was awfully slow, and then updating virtual machines as well is a pain in the ass. So what did they do? They came up with the concept containers. Well, the support for containers was always there in Linux. It's just that a lot of other container runtimes like Docker, they leveraged the support available for the container technology ecosystem and developed it further. So you can think of a container to be somewhat like a virtual machine of its own, where it's somewhat like a virtual operating system, um, but it's way lighter than a virtual machine, and you still get your environment ready, and you get your environment with simple Docker files or basically container defined files, which um, which quickly set up your environment, unlike how long it takes to set up a VM. Now, of course, if you're a nerd, you would know that um, the reason why a Docker container or a container in general is not a full-blown virtual machine, it's because it's running on the same kernel. So it's basically running on running as a process of its own, which is isolated, and that's how all of container technology works, and it's beautiful. And I'm gonna show you how it works in these tutorials. To follow along, I would like you to download and set up Docker and Docker Compose. You can get that done by finding this page. I'll probably try to attach it in somewhere. I'm not sure where this video is gonna go, if I'm being honest. If your Docker support is ready, you should have maybe this Docker desktop app and probably the CLI ready as well to follow along. Well, at least you must have the Docker engine ready. See you in the next video.